G'day everyone. Today is Cooking with Pat, and this here is a food preparation station that I bought a little while ago. I haven't used very much, but what I'm going to do is make a basic tuna dish with some onion, some carrot, peas and rice, which I'll just fry up in a little pan. And one thing I've not mentioned so far is that after my stroke I got a winged scapula, left scapula, which means that my left shoulder blade doesn't sit properly against the back of my ribs, and it can get quite painful. So this is a challenge. Before I had my stroke, one of the least favourite tasks was cooking, and since I've had my stroke, guess what? It's still one of the least favourite tasks that I do. So I've got half an onion here, which is just left over. I'm using my left hand, the one that was affected from the stroke, to peel the outer layers. It would actually be easier for me to hold the onion in my left hand and peel using my right, but I'm doing this deliberately to challenge my left hand. So it's not too bad. Now what I do is that you can see that there are spikes here at the end of the preparation board, in which I can just plant that onion, and that holds it very still. And what I can do now is slice, take that bit away and discard it, and then slice it fairly thinly. And the reason I'm doing this is if I just held the onion with my left hand and slice with the right, the left hand wouldn't actually hold the onion in place while I was doing this very well. So now that I've sliced that, it's a bit hard to do the end bit, so I'll remove that. I can, if I'm careful, hold that, or at least keep it in place with my left hand and trim that end bit off. And I'll put that back on the spikes and slice. Well, that's not going to work very well, is it? Maybe I'll go that way. Okay. Now, I recently bought a multi-grater / slicer, which I'll grate some carrot in. It does have some feet on the bottom which are supposed to help it stay in place while I do the grating. But I've got this non-slip piece of material here, which, to make things easier, I'll place that there, and I'm pushing that fairly hard, and that's not really moving, which is good. So now grab the leftover bit of carrot and grate away. You'll notice that I'm most deliberately using my right hand here, because there's no way in the world that my left hand would actually have the strength to grate the carrot. Come back. Okay, so that's the carrot grated. There's not a lot, but that's okay. And I'll clean up all this stuff later on. So what I'll do now is put that all in together without the big chunky bits, and move on down to the pan. Right, so having got that, turn on the stove, which heats up quite quickly. Excuse me. Just put in some spray oil. Let that heat up a bit while I struggle to get the bloody lid back on. Okay, so that's done. Throw in the... Oh, listen to that sizzle. Man. Okay, I'm not doing this properly at all. I should have preheated the pan, but anyway, it'll get there. Okay, so that's in. I'll just start stirring that around. As you can tell, there's no heat at all. Ah, can you hear the sizzle now? Alright, so now we'll soon start to get somewhere. And whilst that is sizzling away for a bit, I have got some baked beans and charred corn with lime and herbs, some chili tuna, some tuna in olive oil, and some frozen peas. So they'll all be thrown in together, along with some leftover steamed rice. Now really I should have fried off the onions first, but this is what happens when you have a stroke and only so much energy. You think, well, I'll take a few shortcuts and hopefully by the end of it all it won't taste totally like crap. Now while that's happening, let's have a look at how I can open these small cans. They all, yep, they all have the ring pull thing. So I'm just going to hold it in my left hand to maintain control of the can and lift, swing it around. Oh, actually I'll just drain the oil out of that. Same with this one. Right, let's try it with the left hand. Okay, that's next to impossible. So again, using the right hand, and finally the exotic black beans, charred corn, lime and herbs. Careful not to burn my left hand on the pan. There we go, they're all cracked. Okay, now I've drained the most of the oil out of there, and again I can't pull it up with my left hand, so now this isn't the easiest thing in the world to do, even using my right hand, so I kind of just brace it against my belly, and there we go. Okay, so that's the chili tuna. Go on in. My throat loves that chili. Okay, just drain a bit. Really, there's nothing to drain out of the the can of beans. And look, I've never made this before. I've got no idea what it's going to taste like. So we'll just throw it in and see how it goes. Alright. And in goes yeah, I've got a spoon just sitting there in the pan doing nothing. I could have used that to scrape that stuff out. Anyway. Ow! And of course the handle has got quite hot while it's been sitting there. Right. Might just remove the chili. Although it's probably no hotter than the rest of the mixture that's already in there. Okay, mix together. I've got to say at this point it doesn't look particularly appetizing. Anyway, can definitely smell the chili. I can feel the chili in the air. And the lime is coming through as well. So of course what we really need to do is add a bit of green. Of course these are frozen, so they need to warm through a fair bit. Come on, let's not forget to use that left hand sometimes, Patrick. I hear you, Nat. And gotta say that's not looking too bad now. In fact, I almost feel hungry looking at it. Okay. Now I've got rice to add. Leftover rice, just a couple of days old. Why don't we try the left hand on this one? Nah, it's not a happening thing, so I'll just hold with the left and unclip with the right. Careful not to spill it all before you get it in the pan. So there's that lovely looking jasmine rice, I think. In that goes. Wow. I only managed to spill a bit outside the pan. In fact, 1 grain. Okay. Now we heat that through. Break it up and heat it through. Now, should I try this with my left hand? Yeah. I could keep going that way, but then this wouldn't be lunch, it would become dinner. Or perhaps even breakfast. And I think that's actually coming together quite nicely. Surprisingly. Of course, the test will be in the tasting. Right. Won't leave it at that. You get the general idea. Okay, take care everyone. Bye.